Bitcoin went up 100x, and the
Mm-hmm.
dollar, I think MSTR would go up about 1,000x.
So everything goes to zero against Bitcoin except MSTR. You are not concerned about not holding Bitcoin itself, the real asset.
As of this time, I'm just trying to make it out of my parents' basement, and I like MSTR shares.
When the dollar hyperinflates and you look back on this, you're going to be like, man, I wish I'd listened to these people.
I think buying Bitcoin is like, or MSTR is like Apple in 2007 with even way more upside. Because I think it's going to be it's the craziest shift in, I don't
In
know,
dollar
technological
terms.
innovation. Yeah, no, in dollar terms, yeah.
If you're valuing your wealth in dollar terms.
Yeah, I think that it's
Yeah.
going to be. I think it's very early and it's about to explode, and we're going to see there. If you actually think about the amount of capital in Bitcoin right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing. If I go to my local golf course
Right.
and see a bunch of rich boomers,
Right.
every single one of them, maybe outside of my dad, is saying Bitcoin's a scam. I'll never buy that. so
Yeah.
so no one's even in it yet. People think
I
we're late. If I
agree.
actually go to the golf
We're
course
not
and
late.
talk to them, they'd all think I'm nuts. So no
Right.
one's if all the rich people start putting a little bit of money in it, that's huge exponential gains. Even without that, just by the companies buying and the governments, it's all going to explode.
Right.
And but yeah, I guess I'm never gonna please the hardcore Bitcoin maxis if I own a lot of MSTR. I understand that. But
All right.
I completely see why they've been so successful the last 10 years.
Yes. Okay.
And by the way,
I
I think that they're
agree.
going to be just as successful the next 10 years. I think it's very early.
Right. Right. So I agree that like all the companies using Bitcoin as a unit of account, putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, it's important to support those, and I think it's awesome. I'm super like glad to see you coming into the ecosystem and supporting all of that. I just encourage you to do more research and read that book that you have.
Yeah. So
And
I read my first
yeah,
Bitcoin book, The Bitcoin Standard. I read all of it
yes.
but the last 10 pages. I got a little bored, but I moved on. I decided I want to move on to this book. And
Okay.
I got a couple books here. I got this when I went to the Michael Saylor party,
Yeah.
he had 3 copies of this book on
Uh-huh.
his desk. So I bought
Right.
a couple copies of this for me and my family.
Good
Bitcoin
job.
Super Cycle. So
Right.
I haven't read it, but I think this
I haven't
is
read
in
that
it.
one. I've read
So
Broken Money.
so yeah, at Sailor's party, he had one book out for everyone to look
Okay.
at, and it was this
Yeah.
book. So I think there's got to be
Uh-huh.
some useful information, and yeah, I think that's going to be the super cycle. I don't think we're going to. I just think we're seeing a whole new wave of institutional adoption, nation
Yeah.
states, and ETF inflow. So I really think that we're going to see a huge. The cool thing about Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
that really excites me is other commodities, you see an exponential shift increase in demand. Like let's say
Mm-hmm.
silver had an exponential increase shift in demand tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would happen was everyone around the world would just work harder to create more silver. And so the price would increase temporarily due to the demand shift, but then everyone would just work harder to capitalize on that. And then the price would shift back down because the supply would increase. The thing about Bitcoin is the supply is fixed. There's a set amount
Right.
released each year by the miners. There's 21 million forever. We are currently seeing the exponential increase in demand, and it's only going to erupt. And the supply, it can't, even if people wanted to, they can't work harder to make more. So that's where the price just goes up exponentially in terms of fiat, as you say. And that's when Bitcoin goes to the moon and MSTR goes to Mars. And MSTR, I say this, people get upset but it's a little bit of jokes. But MSTR, the M stands for Mars.
So
It's
you're
a Mars
Mars
real estate.
Maxi.
It's a Mars real estate development company, and they're going to need perfect money on Mars. And Bitcoin's that they can't send gold to Mars, but they're going to be able to send Bitcoin to Mars. So
Okay.
that's very bullish. I don't think that's priced in.
Okay. It's probably not yet, but I'm just going to leave you with this. Please take 1% of your fiat gains, put them into Bitcoin cold storage in case you end up stuck on Earth.
Oh yeah, and I have, by the way, the Bitcoin maxis will like this.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I did set up Bitcoin cold storage,
I
and
saw that.
I got a couple. I don't. They say not to reveal your stack, but I don't think it matters because I have almost none. But yeah, I have little over, what is it? I'm not even gonna say, but it's not much money. Not many
That's
sats, but I
okay.
got a couple sats.
You got okay. You got off of 0 Bitcoin in cold storage, right? So you
Yeah.
didn't even have a cold storage setup. You
And
got off
more
0.
importantly, that now I understand the technology and the use of it more. 'Cause
Exactly.
it's hard to, even
Exactly.
if you read about Bitcoin and read about
Mm-hmm.
cold storage, it's hard to understand it until you get that first person experience with it. And then you really see,
Right.
wow, you can just go off the grid with this. Nobody can even seize it. No one can even tell you have it. So there is definitely an eye-opening experience, not only with the hot wallet, I use that, but also
Yeah.
with the cold storage. And it's cool when you send it to friends and family. I mean, you don't even have to ask permission from the government. They don't even ask your name. None of that. No.
That's right.
So, so you can send it. You could theoretically send it to China overnight, and you don't even have to ask permission from anyone. You can send as much money or as much Bitcoin. I'm stuck on the fiat, but you can send as much Bitcoin as you want to
Right.
China. You don't have to ask for permission. But if you wanted to send, say, $5 million to your friend in China
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, good luck doing
Mm-hmm.
that in the current banking system. And then good luck doing that if you're on if the government considers you a threat, whatever. But
That's right.
with Bitcoin,
You've
nobody
made
can stop it. Then my
you've
dad was
made the
previously
argument.
wrong about this. He's kind of come around. So this
Okay.
guy, John, who he kind of educated on this, and this is true.
Yeah.
My dad thought, well, I'm bullish on Bitcoin now because I
Mm-hmm.
thought the government was going to stop it, but instead they chose to embrace it. So,
Right.
and then and that's kind of true, but not really. The reason the government embraced it is because you can't stop Bitcoin because it's peer to peer. Like even if the government wanted to, they can't stop it. So they have no choice to embrace it. So Bitcoin is this
You're right.
unstoppable technology. So,
It's
and we are
unstoppable if you hold
that
your
being
own keys.
that being that's true. But that being said, it's very good. While the government did have no choice to embrace it, it is very good
Mm-hmm.
that they are embracing it because then the price is going
Right.
to erupt. But I guess hardcore Bitcoin maxis, they act like they don't care about the price because they just care about Bitcoin. But
Right.
I still want to see it go up. So me personally, I'm very happy that
Right.
it's getting institutionalized and the nation states are going to start buying and the ETFs and MSTR. What's crazy about MSTR? In my strategy is
Uh-huh.
the amount of Bitcoin they're buying alone, I'm pretty sure is more than the amount released by the miners. So we're going to see this supply shock or there's too much demand basically for Bitcoin not to go to infinity. That's my opinion. So it's just a basic math
Bitcoin.
problem. There's more
Right.
demand than supply. I don't see how this doesn't go to infinity. That's pretty much my opinion.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.